of punches there by Chapman, no damage there.
Yeah, again, both fighters told me in the pre-fight that they're looking forward to striking. It's normally the guy who feels he's not getting the better of striking that will look for the takedown. And so far, both fighters content to throw punches. Big right hand swing there from Chapman. Just missing Swanson, who delivered a pretty solid leg kick.
Nice striking here from Chapman, and we know he's got one punch knockout power, but Swanson, a very tough opponent. And again, a good exchange there by Chapman, but Swanson landing some really good solid kicks.
Nice right hand from Swanson there too. And Swanson now taking it to the ground, winding up on top. And we'll see what David Swanson does from here, as he's got the control. A body triangle briefly held by Chapman, although he abandons that, goes for a more traditional guard.
Swanson trying to work to get that foot inside and work to half guard. One arm in, now very dangerous position here. We've seen a couple people tap it out in this instance today, but getting out is David Swanson, showing off that cage presence of 4 fights.
Well, yeah, and if there's one thing it's the Whammo boys are known for, it's a great ground game. They drill it into their fighters that you know, a vast majority of the fights go to the ground, and you need to be better on the ground. It's one thing to be better on your feet, but you have to be better on the ground. They drill that into their fighters, and you're seeing it here in the early going, as Swanson briefly had side control and has had the more dominant position on top here since he took it to the ground.
Elvis Sliden giving them warning to keep it going, keep the action going. And now trying to isolate an arm is Chapman. But again, David Swanson thinking about position first and being able to make sure that he is in a safe position. But again, trying for the sweep is Chris Chapman.
Yeah, Swanson has those arms locked, or did momentarily, although now driving elbows into the legs of Chapman, maybe trying to take away the power for round 2. Long-term thinking there on the elbows from David Swanson.
Although it didn't look like Chapman much cared at all that he was getting attacked in the legs, as when those elbows were raining down, I was looking at Chapman's face, and he didn't even acknowledge that they were happening.
Swanson, though, doing a nice job, Jeremy, of covering up in that replay, really protecting his chin, making sure that he wasn't going to get hit and wasn't going to see that knockout, and seems to be pressing the action forward here. Couple combinations ending with a leg kick.
Yeah, and again, some nice shots back from Chapman in under the legs, and we talk about that positioning. Locked hands underneath the butt and taking his opponent down. Now we see what Chris Chapman can do from a top position, as we watched for almost 2 minutes what David Redbeard Swanson could do from this spot.
I asked Chapman about the red beard. He said he has a red-headed person in his gym, made him grow a beard so that he wouldn't be afraid of it in the cage.
Random fact number 7 from Ryan Valentine tonight.
We're gonna both of these fighters very good sense of humor in their pre-fight interviews, and Chapman discussing the power of David Swanson's red beard. Chapman, though, effective on top, busy on top, but hasn't landed much in the way of strikes so far, Jeremy.
Yeah, and just as you say it, it's like he heard you and decided, I'm going to show you I can strike from the top. Again, you look at David Swanson, though, being very methodical in his defense, making sure that if there's any mistake, he's ready to capitalize on it. Chapman, for his credit, is making sure that no mistakes happen. You hear 2 arms in or 2 arms out from his coach. You're hearing it multiple times because they know of the ability of David Swanson on his back and all of the Winnipeg Academy of Mixed Martial Arts fighters.
Chapman, again, has been on top for the better part of a minute here in round number 2. And Elvis Lyon asking for a little more action in this battle. Swanson trying to isolate an arm. Chapman uses it to pass to half guard and has now got a guillotine choke on. Chapman's got it. We'll see how deep it is in just a moment here. Whether or not Swanson's going to tap to it, doesn't look like he's in much danger yet as he's continuing to do offense, but Chapman really cranking this guillotine choke in. We'll see whether Swanson can pop up, and now Chapman lets it go. Swanson on top with 30 seconds to go.
Chapman had even shifted his grip to the less traditional but very effective Cody McKenzie grip, and now going to mission control. And a little bit of rubber guard action is Chris Chapman, so giving a different look for David Swanson to deal with in the last couple seconds here of round 2. 10 seconds remain now.
Round number 2, back and forth, just like round number 1 was, as you would expect from a title fight here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship. Both these fighters very close, and Jeremy, a 5-round fight certainly seems to look like a possibility here. And we are back underway here. And again, a little test leg kick coming from Chapman, answered by Swanson. They trade him again. That one got through to the head of Swanson. Chapman trying to throw 3 straight head kicks. The first one landed, the last 2 didn't. Kick again. Both fighters trading kicks, now throwing a head kick with Swanson. That one didn't get through.
Chapman's corner telling him to breathe. Every time they get a break, make sure you're breathing. And again, we come from a guy who says that he has to work on his strength and conditioning, and breathing a very important part of that. Sometimes when you're in a fight, you forget it, and it's good for your coach to just remind you, keep that oxygen going. It fuels the blood, fuels those muscles, and helps you in the later rounds.
Both of the Dalrymple brothers also in the corner of Chapman. Uses strikes to set up a takedown. Very nice. That time behind the knees, Jeremy, but was able to successfully gain side control after hopping over and putting himself between Swanson and the cage.
He doesn't want Swanson to use the cage as a way to get off his back, as he has done multiple times, and now transitioning to a half guard and getting some advice from his coaches on what to do, and trying to isolate the head. He does have it isolated again, although we hope that Chapman doesn't go to his back to get a guillotine, and he does not. We've seen so many people in the past go for that guillotine, giving up top position to get bottom position and unable to succeed, and then ending in trouble. Pushing up against the cage is David Swanson now.
Yeah, Swanson has Chapman up against the cage and is throwing knees and trying to keep him in that position. Again, we've seen it a couple times tonight where a guy leans on his opponent, really puts his weight on him and says, you're going to have to carry me through this round, and it can weigh out his opponent. A nice single leg takedown there from Swanson, keeping Chapman down. Tried to get up a couple times and just keeps hauling him down to the ground. Although this time, well, Chapman almost able to get up, but Swanson again hauls him down, and we'll see what he can do on top with 40 seconds left, just like the last round.
And a bit of butterfly guard going on now from Chapman, as we've seen all sorts of technique here, and we'll see Chapman try and push those hips away to get David Swanson off of him, but David Swanson transitioning over to the mount, and now it looks like Chapman's trying to isolate an arm and perhaps go for a sweep or a Kimura. We have short time remaining now in round 3.
So just 10 seconds left in the third round. A sweep there from Chapman to get on top as the round ends. Swanson trying to fight it back. They end up on their feet with a knee to the midsection, and both fighters will return to their corners. Again, Jeremy, this fight at this point, 3 rounds in, too close to call. I wouldn't be able to tell you reliably which judge would have what on what scorecard. Round number 4 here for the 155-pound Hard Knocks amateur title.
Some good answered leg kicks from David Swanson, 8-1, and then gave 2 back. Good checking on that kick from Chapman, and now pulling guard, and he does have that guillotine. It is very tight, and again, switching to that Cody McKenzie style grip, which is pushing up on the hand as opposed to hipping in and causing some rotation there, which causes extra pressure, and now you see a top position, and Swanson able to fight this off, but not done yet, as now Chapman's lifting up Swanson in this guillotine choke.
Well, Swanson doing a good job to defend the guillotine and gets out of it, much to the delight of his coaches. Chapman with a nice takedown here right in front of us here, and winds up on top in a side mount position. And now we'll be looking to transition into the full mount. Swanson twisting against that and keeping Chapman from getting the full mount. And looks to continue to work here, and again, tries to choke, unsuccessful. And Swanson with a nice transition.
Excellent continuity here by David Swanson. He took a takedown where he was inside control and ended up working and pushing till now he is inside control with a takedown of his own. He's got 1:30 to work here from this position. And again, both fighters have shown the ability to get off their back. So tough rounds to call, although that was a fairly nice knee right into the elbow of Chris Chapman.
Yeah, a nice knee from the top there from Swanson as he continues to work. Chapman trying to pull back and get into a better guard. He's in the half guard now. And looking at the one leg there of Chris Chapman, you can really see the impressions that Swanson's feet have made on his leg from those leg kicks. And a very back and forth fight here, Jeremy. Fans getting full value for their money out of a championship matchup between these two lightweight competitors.
40 seconds remain on our featurefights.ca clock here in round 4 championship rounds. The 155 title on the line, as again a very close fight between these two fighters. And there we go, David Swanson posturing up, able to get a shot in, but Chapman now switching to rubber guard, looking for mission control to isolate the head to land some strikes.
15 seconds left now. Swanson trying to climb over the guard of Chris Chapman and continuing to move forward. These two fighters putting on a show here as far as grappling is concerned. Chris Chapman trying to isolate the arm, unable to do so. David Swanson ends this round on top. Sign of respect for one another, not that there's been any disrespect shown, but both fighters coming in, and a switch kick there from Chapman, a couple kicks, and Swanson maybe got a little low, just backed off a step and is right back in it. And again, both fighters I'm sure the corners know better than I do, and you could see Chris Chapman aware of the rules, no knees to the head. As he grabbed the clinch, he loaded the knee, and then he just let David Swanson's head go, knowing that would have been an illegal blow. And a point at this point, a point deducted at this point in the fight could very well cost you a championship belt.
And it's turned into a bit of a kickboxing match here. Now we get some grappling going on. Chapman pushing Swanson into the cage, trying to use that same takedown he used here in round 4, and he will get another takedown. So again, very important here in this round that David Swanson cannot remain on his back, as Chris Chapman will try and stay as busy as possible in this final round to try and leave an exclamation point on this fight.
Yeah, 2 minutes left in the round. Swanson trying to swing out of it and grab onto a leg of Chapman and maybe push his way through there to secure himself a better position. But Chapman controlling Swanson's head, pushing him back down and back in the guard.
Now you look at Chapman trying to stay busy, trying to push him over to his corner, doing anything he can to damage David Swanson, and now trying to transition to side control, and being able to come out is Swanson, but only temporarily, as Chapman back on top.
Yeah, Swanson able to grab Chapman's leg and trying to throw him away, but Chapman tenacious, staying on top and continuing the action. The 5th and final round going to make the difference here, likely, as these two fighters look to get their first taste of championship silver around their necks, or around their waists, rather.
And a bit of a front quarter Nelson, some old school wrestling there. And now in on the double is Swanson. Good counter by Chapman, able to come through and end up on top again. very important. But Swanson now a little bit of a side choke, trying to put some pressure on Chapman, but very hard to score from here. All stacked up now is Redbeard.
Yeah, Swanson all pretzeled around his opponent, Chris Chapman. Chapman again breaks it into the guard. A good round here for Chris Chapman as he finds himself on top of Redbeard, trying to land some punches. Just 10 seconds left in this championship fight. Swanson gets up and secures a takedown right at the buzzer. I'm going into this cage with absolutely no idea who won this fight. This should be very interesting. You cannot ask for more from these two.